Good morning, everyone. Um, I hope I can at least talk that loud, so all should focus on the stage at the moment and leave your phones for some time. Today we are talking about facility management, and we already have our guest with us. We have Arjun with us. We have Anil, we have Weber. So we'll start with certain common questions. We wanted to keep this session in a way where we can talk about certain common topics, which will give you the knowledge about facility management. Not like facility management, we haven't heard the topic. Of course, yes, we've been hearing it, but there is a lot to talk about. So to start with, all of you, I would just love if you can describe in your own words, what you think where facility management is going. What is the climate issues we are facing and, where we are shifting towards this. So I would like to start with Anil maybe.
Yeah, thank you, Kanika. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so as everybody knows, and I think we all are connected to facility management here. See, we have, from a couple of decades, we have evolved like anything from a background performer. Now we are the front stage runner. Uh, our role becomes more important when we talk about topics like this, wherein risk management comes into the picture, right? So, and when I talk about risk management, see, there is a cost to the action, what we take. But of course, there is a cost to not to take any action. If any of the promises get interrupted, or if something is not working, there is a revenue loss, which is direct loss, right? And there is a loss to the trust of the organization also. So in facility management, our focus nowadays has, towards these conditions wherein our maybe the business would get interrupted, or our workplace scenarios would get interrupted. I would like to give a very local example of Delhi NCR, wherein in winters everybody knows that AQIs like go through the roof, right? So and then employees refrain to come to office in the hybrid kind of work culture which we have nowadays. So how to mitigate that? Because there are certain organizations wherein they want people in the office, they want to work in a collaborative environment. So how do we fix that? So we need to address, and we are the correct person to address it, right? So facility managers, it's our responsibility to correct it. So with the help of HEPA filters, and it has to predictive kind of maintenance, we know that every year this is going to happen. So how we are fixing those into our system, and then how we are making sure that our CXOs and the management who are taking decisions in the business are aligned with that, and they have that confidence that during these peak disturbance days or seasons, we are there for them. And there are other couple of examples also, Bangalore, Mumbai floods. So with the climate change, we have to bring
Sure.
design into the implementation, and then that's what we are doing nowadays.
Right. So, Arjun, I think I would like you to add on something for us, because you're somebody who's been building a lot of co-working spaces. As he rightly said that, I think this is a very good topic he picked out, that, even the employees want a lot of topics to be discussed when it comes to pollution or to the levels in the room and air and structure. So you've been building a lot of co-working spaces. So what's your say into this?
Yeah, so my perspective on this new age challenges that we face is, one risk that he talked about was air quality, right? Apart from that, there are many other risks that are also involved. For example, overconsumption of all your resources. So, which is, for example, electricity, whatever, everything that you have as a setup in your organization, right? In your everyday usage of water, for example. Everything that is a natural resource is obviously energy, water, everything is scarce. Looking at that, we, as a co-working space, we never base ourselves as someone who is a large organization. We always keep innovation in-house for every spot that we have. So, for example, our Delhi sites are majorly currently working in-house with picking up the community, and we are making the community to design systems which are very specific to our workspaces, right? So they are making sensors for our co-working space in Delhi and Faridabad, right? We chose Faridabad to enter Faridabad first because obviously it was rated as the second most polluting city in India, right? And we chose that we will take a factory and we will convert it back to a workspace which will be grade D to a grade A. So we are on that task of making it a grade A. On top of it, 50% of our load, so as a case study, 50% of our electricity load is through solar right now. We are on grid there. We have water harvesting. 60% of all rainwater that lands on our floor goes onto replenishment as well as consumption again, right? So these are systems that have been built because I try to keep the partnerships with the building very deep in a sense that we build that building to a grade A for the landlord, and that helps us to get a little more ownership on the building. And then it gives us the ownership of having working on the civil part of the building, right? At the external scale as well. So this is the kind of partnership agreements. I think the main crux of it is to work with the landlord of an old building and make the partnership agreement such that they give you the ownership to move towards a sustainable practice. So that is where I think the risk mitigation also happens through a good partnership.
Right. Ashish, you want to add
Just
something?
wanted to add on here. Warm welcome to everyone. So, I think facility management, when we speak it about as a whole, I think I'll go back to basics. It's all about basic. Setting basics right, following the right practices. I think that's where it starts with the facility management. I want to share an example with all of you. What happened recently is that so we basically are into co-working segment. Trying to be into a segment which is more of an enterprise solution. We have a couple of buildings in Udyog Vihar. So what recently happened with us in the building is that obviously the rainwater seeped in. A lot of areas got damp, seepages came in, and that's how where we learned. Eventually, what happened is that when we acquired the new building with the what Sir rightly said about having that right collaboration with the landlords also. And in the process, educating them to probably understand the importance of it, because for them it's a pure business. But for us, like companies, especially which we are into, it's very important for us to probably understand the importance that we are into customer service at the end of the day, right? So we learned in the process, and we try to make those changes that what mistakes which we did earlier, it's not repeated. We did whatever proofing was required. We did second level of POP works. We did multiple things to probably make sure that these things do not come. And eventually it is all preventive maintenance, right, at the end of the day. So we, into facility management, we have the gears which we do it for preventive maintenance, like monsoon preparedness is one important aspect which we talk about, and eventually in the process also help into the rainwater harvesting, which rightly Sir again mentioned about it. In again Gurgaon, Udyog Vihar, I think a lot of companies who are operating, they know what happens that we have tanker systems coming in, right, for the WC usage, washroom usage and all, and the gardening purposes. We spend a lot of money into it. But when you have a special system which is defined into the rainwater harvesting and the STP system working, it obviously eventually saves a lot of cost, which is at the end of the day very important for any organization to run successfully.
Right. So I think, Anil, I have this specific question from you. We all listen a lot about this word named Bharat being used with a lot of companies, and that is what we've been promoting, from India to Bharat. Are we really adapting facility management? Is there companies really following this? Because as a company, when we talk about something, yes, we do talk about it, but would you like to put some percentage in front of us? Are Indian companies or companies in Bharat are really adapting facility management facilities in-house? Or you still think that we lack somewhere? Don't tell me you were not prepared for this.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just trying to, kind of
Yes.
gather my thoughts on this. See, facility management, when we talk about, mainly we think of corporates, right? And we think of metropolitan cities. So as a Bharat, I would say that we are very much there. in facility management, wherein we are kind of adopting new technologies. And of course, every country, every region, as we are discussing, would have different challenges, would have different risks. So the risk mapping would be different, but then, how we are getting the solution through facility management, of course, and through planned facility management, what we are talking about, we are very much there. Now, when you say Bharat, so I would say that, are we there wherein, we are kind of getting those solutions in-house within India? Are we able to develop those? So for that, I would say we are midway, right? So most of the new things which are coming in facility management are through the routes of US or Europe, right? So we test there, we say that, hey, this works for facility management, for example, database, for example, HVAC innovation and smart buildings. So they are coming through that route. But of course, we do have our local, opportunities. I would not say problems. But yes, for those local opportunities, as rightly talked about, we have to have a good drainage system because that's what was lacking. And during monsoon, we see that. So for that, there are simpler solutions in terms of managing your infrastructure, managing your backups. No longer you need to have your backups on the basements. You need to have them on the roof or somewhere else at elevated places, which is a very basic thing. And again, I would not say this is a technological driven thing, but then for that matter, if I need to quote example for technology driven thing, it would be AQI. Again, I'll come to that part because that's not something which is coming from Western world, right? It's something which is more Eastern, which is more in China and in India. So for that, our HVAC systems, in a, I would say in a building where we had a pilot project where we kind of made some alteration to our system and which was very much Bharat. So we had our own AHU partner from India. So what they did for winters wherein we experience high level of AQIs, we have a system wherein we can install HEPA into it. And with HEPA, because those who are from the technical background would understand, our VFDs, they have to kind of struggle more while we have HEPA. So what we have done that we don't want cooling units to be operated in winters. So we adjust HEPA, we put HEPA in winters, but in summers we remove HEPA and we have normal solution as normal AHU, and these VFD control their airflows like that. So these are localized solutions, but they work pretty fine. So that's my take on Bharat versus.
Thank you so much. Arjun, but I, still would love to ask this, how technology is bringing changes to facility management, because I can't see 2025 without a tech involved anywhere, where we are talking about AI, we are talking to the world about certain tools and data. We can't miss on a very important point. So I'm not saying that humans are not a part of it, we all have, but how technology is shifting the whole facility management area in your perspective, and what tools you think can be utilized, how career is shifting, because of technology entering into the world so fast. So would you like to say something on this?
So from our building the ecosystem and the environment of what you're giving as a co-working space, because it is a shared workspace, you will always see people having different requirements from the same place, right? So you need to have a universal way of efficiently using all the resources. For that, one is the HVAC system and what Anil talked about. And apart from that, there will always be, I am more of an energy consumption side. I move towards energy consumption first, and then I move to the next set of things, which is, okay, on this, what technology can be deployed? So from the energy part of view, again, I'll take the example of one of the co-working spaces that we have. We have Facilio app that we use, which is used for us to know what is our consumption from each meter. So we have smart metering in the back, by one company called Shelly, if you know Shelly devices. So these devices are being executed at the electrical point level. It took a long time to understand what could be the requirement if you're looking for high kilowatt kind of consumption. So Shelly was unable to do it. So we went into that research part where we talked about our community designing those devices for us, which were very specific to our requirements. And then we deployed it on our meters, right? So now, for me to switch off the lights of one of the buildings in a whole at a 50,000 square feet is just click of a button from my app and everything just shuts off at MCB level. So that is kind of the automation that I want to see in places where obviously you know Haryana and how industrial zones in Haryana work in electricity. So you have to be efficient in your own thing. That is one thing that we have learned over a period of time, and we have delivered on some of them. Apart from that, obviously, what I see that is coming very swiftly in our ecosystem is robotic process automation. So we have to make sure that softwares reach a point where all our processes of reporting, our processes of deploying a new technology, training, everything becomes automated so that we can deliver at scale and not cause the training cost to go up as well as the auditing cost should also not go up. So there are a lot of softwares that anyone can design. These are not very complicated softwares. If you think first principle, it is basically 5 people involved in your facility in one location. What do they need to make sure that their time is saved in the day, right? If they become redundant, they start thinking innovation about the innovation. So my task as a owner of that brand is to make them the Hindi word Vela, right? Punjabi word Vela, right? So I try to make them that so that everything that they do should be automated. They think about innovation, right? This is where I think the word should go. The automation will be the main part. Apart from that, physical robotics, went to Startup Mahakumbh very recently, saw some amazing products coming in, which are basically robots that can just replace things that are redundant in your system. So if physical robotics can be used at scale, that is another thing that is I'm seeing as something that is innovated in Bharat and is being done by fully scaled up to be available at a cost that is used for anything that you need, right? So
Thank you, Arjun. Ashish, would you like to add something that what are the future innovation in facility management? You know, a company should see that it's coming and they should follow and study about it from now onwards. So would you like to put some light on this?
Yes, I think reinvention, reinvention in the facility management is very important. So I just wanted to share an example quickly. Last week only, I cannot reveal the name of the company, but we as a company under Coworking, we are doing a transaction with an IT giant. And for me, at my age also, it was a learning, probably meeting those real estate heads of that company. And when I got to know that there is a technology which they are using in their one of the US offices that it counts the number of people who are entering into a washroom. It maintains and and I was intrigued to know obviously more in detail that the moisture content also is being basically captured in the washroom, and that's how it gives an automatic sensor to the housekeeping team sitting in probably 500 meters away from that location in a large building. The housekeeping supervisor gets information, he goes and probably does the cleaning altogether. So I was very impressed to probably have that kind of a learning from there. Secondly, very basic again example I was talking to him about, like again it's part of facility management. It's not technical, but I think something very important for people to be aware about is the kind of hinges which the doors are being used. So for us probably it's basically very basic stuff that push pull kara darwaza khul gaya band ho gaya, but then there are certain hinges which are automatically devised and it doesn't open the door on the either side. So if it is a push, it has to be a push. If it's a pull, it has to be a pull. So I think those two elements which I can recall right now in my last 10 days of learnings and experiences which I have got to know. And one very important thing which for me in my particular role is very critical is of course cost. And for a facility management company, sorry, a vertical to be aligned to is the usage of the HVAC system. So I think we have anyways got this covered, the systems of sensors which are being installed. We also have done a pilot project in one of our locations in Bombay and in Gurgaon, where we are trying to capture the utility of the HVAC systems through the AHUs, and that's how basically it is giving us a replicated result which we really want to save upon. And I was surprised in the pilot project itself, we were able to save more than 30% of the cost in a peak summer season, which was last month. So I think those elements are really coming into the play when it is coming to evolving into technology from facility management point of view.
So, Anil, are you guys or CK Birla Group is investing into green buildings also? Would you like to talk about it? Under any certifications of IGBC or something like that?
Yeah, sure. Before that, I just wanted to contribute
Sure.
to the last question. So when we talk about facilities and technology, they are going hand on hand. Right now, there are so many technologies which are coming into facility management, and that's how the center of I would say the solution which we are looking at would be employee experience or human experience. So how do we elevate that? So technology has a larger role to play with it. As you said that there are different software, there are different solutions which are in the market, which would instantly give you some kind of database, which again, would result into some action of your maybe technical team, housekeeping team in terms of maybe predictive maintenance. You are well informed about that. So in our last company, which was very new-age company, US company, we had a system wherein our cameras could detect what is the mood of the company, everybody who is entering into the office. So it will give us data which would show that, are the employees, are they feeling happy? Are they feeling sad? Are they numb about something? So, on practical grounds, this examples, I would say this particular, the use of technology comes into picture when we had to announce something big within the company, right? During the appraisal cycles, how is the mood of the company, or during Fridays, or during some event when we have something which is coming up. So we used to use this technology. So there are multiple ways to use technology in different companies. It depends what is the DNA of your company. So now I'll come to this question. See, I would say as a company we are midway around, right? When we say green and lead buildings, and do we need to invest on that, or are we looking forward for that? What is the ROI of that? So there are, in cities like Delhi NCR or in Mumbai, there is hardly some scope for new buildings, and if there are areas which are coming up, but then as a group, are you looking to invest there? Because then your employee database, or maybe if you have some clientele in the building, you are looking for those also. So what is the ROI you are going to drive? So then the question comes that, do you want to retrospect something within the building to get those certifications? Then the other question, which is that, is the building ready for that, right? So there are different dynamics to it. But of course, as a group, we are looking forward to it. There are certain buildings which we have retrospected. There are new buildings which are coming up, and we have already done the design element of it with the new LEED certification, or new technologies, or new ESG norms which are coming up in the market.
So I would like to ask Arjun from you, moving forward, as Anil said that, there are a lot of time, it depends on clients, what they want from us when it comes to green buildings. Is it a lack of us educating them? Because when we say that in India, we are still not going to a level of green buildings like internationally we are. So do you think it's a lack from the companies who are into facility management? Are we failed to explain them the concept of green buildings? Or do you think it's the investment when companies come and ask for a project? they think it's on a higher part. So what you think where we are lacking? Because I don't know since when in my childhood I've been hearing this green building concept, and that's what we all used to hear when it comes to facility management. I hope I'm right. But I would love to know that why still at this era where internationally people are growing so much, and we are still saying that it depends on clients whether they want to go for a green buildings or not. Whether I think it's our duty to explain them that why do we need green buildings. So would you like to tell me that where we are lacking here?
So I'll try to understand this question. So basically, there are two parts to the question from my
Yeah,
side. So
yeah.
one is the customer's expectation from the building,
Yeah.
and the other side is the landlord's way of building the building.
No,
and
so my
adopting
question
it.
was that why we are not adapting green buildings. As Anil said, that a lot of time people come up with their own thoughts. They tell us that we need this and this. So if we are saying that green buildings are important for us, for our climate resilience, then why we are still not at our data is not saying that we have a lot of green buildings here. So are we lacking in educating people that what is the positives of green buildings?
See, I'll put some light
Yeah.
to the challenge in an
Yeah.
example that I have observed in two countries. So one is UK, and I'll compare it with India, right? So the Western countries are right now in a structured approach handling carbon credits. The way they handle carbon credits is commendable. Why do I say that? Is that it has percolated down to the whole value chain, and you see exhibitions only on sustainable products and materials. There is nothing else in those exhibitions, and they are as big as any normal builders exhibition happening in the UK. Why does that happen? The government is aligned to you working and trading in carbon credits, right? Trading of carbon credits has caused the whole ecosystem there to actually value the adoption of it. It is not about, see, a human being will never adopt something if there is nothing coming back to them as a gain out of it. So that gain has been put into the value chain in that country, right? Here, we are doing it from our heart, I would like to say. We are doing it because our companies have a CSR policy. We are doing it because we have a green building, a brand that needs to be picked up, right? We are also doing it because our cost efficiency. So it's very specific to our own requirement within that ecosystem that we are building in that building, right? So when change happens, right? So I was discussing with Anil also. So when change happens, when they start structuring, he was putting a very logical point there, where I would like you to put that point.
Yeah, sure.
So when something structured comes up,
Yeah.
what will the change management do?
So basically, we were discussing about that. It depends on the compliance also, compliance part also, how government is pushing it, right? So as you said that in UK and in Western countries, there is a good system of credits, right? But why do a company want to go for credits? Because in the US and in European nation, they have their net zero target as 2050, right? So their governments are already working towards, on those compliances wherein they have given some mandates within the country that, if a country need to be net zero by 2050, so the organization which are working with the country are very much part of it, and they also need to be compliant to it. So these organizations are already doing that. They are on that path. India, R is 2070, right? So right now our government is not, they are talking about it, but then in terms of compliances, in terms of new regulations, we are not there. So that's what he's saying, that it's our wish, whether we want to do it or not, right? Right now we are seeing ROI in terms of tangible assets, money, and revenue, right? But then, all of a sudden, maybe at 2035 or 2040, where there would be compliances related to, net zero, suddenly companies who are not reacting right now would find themselves like there is a lot to catch up, right? There would be a lot to invest. So it's better that you need to be proactive, and in the market right now, you can adopt that path right now so that, you are not very late when the times arrive. So that's...
And then on top of it, the structure of how you implement for the future market, which will be more structured, is the biggest challenge. So if you do go in the wrong direction of creating your own carbon credits and you then change comes in, change management will take too much cost to you. And then the adoption will again be hampered by the whole process of now we have done all this, now we need to convert it to this compliance, right? So this is where the whole challenging part of carbon credits and all those things is my perspective on it.
Yeah, and of course for the green building, in the ecosystem, even builders are part of it, right? They know about it. So they know that, if they are going to invest in the building, which is a green building, they know that it could be possible that they are putting a marginal extra money than the competitor in the market, or maybe, versus the existing available inventory in the market. So right now, I think they are also playing very smart. They are also giving you operational saving of certain percentage, wherein, it's responsibility of people like us when we are presenting our business cases. It's not an upfront investment of some rupee per square feet versus, some saving in some rupee per square feet. It has to be maybe a 5 years kind of business case which we need to present, and then all the intangible things which we are going to get in the market, and through sustainability or through our ESG reporting systems. So we are going to get benefit of it. So eventually you will see that there is no difference as such. But yes, upfront, if you see with the existing inventory which are not green buildings versus green buildings, there is a different commercially also. But eventually within 5 years you would land on the same spend.
So, Ashish, I would like to come to you if you would like to add on something, or do you think that Incuspace has done any project, maybe, for any of your building, where you have created any advanced technology, keeping facility management into your mind and climate resilience? Any green building projects you have done for your own building? So would you like to state something on this?
Yeah, so in continuation to what we just heard, one important very important thing which we are doing as an initiative in one of the buildings again in Gurgaon is organic greenery. So in our buildings we are in-house trying to do some organic farming, small level, to probably incorporate that kind of a structure where people also get involved. I think when I was hearing them out, I think it is more towards being sensitive. I think that sense of being sensitive is really missing in people. In addition, also I want to add on is that in Udyog Vihar, I don't know how many people have been there, especially during the working hours or through the working days. What happens, the traffic is a big problem, and I'm sure that a lot of people must have come, including myself, from Gurgaon or Faridabad. So again, companies like us, IDEASHACKS, Incuspaze, we have incorporated something called motivating people to come by bicycle also. So within the premises, we are creating a track. It's a large campus, 3.5 lakh square feet of a campus, where we are trying to incorporate a bicycle track for people. We are motivating people to come by walk and by bicycle, and then that's how basically it is also incorporating them to add on extra incentive to them, to the individuals, to the people, all the companies, and the response has been tremendous. As in, we have a big company in a sense. They have a headcount of around 1,100 people operating in our Udyog Vihar building. And the facility head, the real estate head, basically, when he came down to see the facility and the options which we shared them, they were really, really happy about it. That because see, these companies really value it. They have their own CSR initiatives. They have their own in-house libraries. Organic farming on whatever level, I think just added on, I think it's again one important aspect. Cycling tracks and all these things are really impacting, and I think companies, when what I said again, I want to repeat it, being sensitive towards thinking about these things, I think really it is really going to make an impact, and I think companies are doing it big time right now. So I think this is really adding on in the facility management vertical.
Sure. So, Anil, I would like to know that, of course, we are not a small country. We already have a lot of, old constructions being made with, a lot of big companies. We just can't randomly go to everybody and tell that, move this to a green building. That's not a possibility. So, is your company or anybody of you think we talk about restructuring the old building with some new trends coming into the facility management? If yes, then what would be the process? what should be the add-ons, and how we can do it? I think I want three of you to answer on this perspective.
Yeah, of course. So, see, as a company, or maybe any company who owns a building and who is in that dilemma that hey, do I need to invest in this particular building? I would say just take a lens of ROI also. And when you take a lens of ROI, you would end up, see, it's not about green building always, right? It's about that what is the impact your building or maybe, people who are working within the building are making on environment or ESG as a larger. So the basic structure of the building would not be would not be possible to change. If you're not getting direct sunlight, then it would not make any sense that you break your walls and put some pillars and then get some glasses, right? Because you're not going to get that kind of daylight what you are looking at to make it more green building or towards LEED certification, right? Then just invest on your existing system, maybe invest on your HVAC system, invest on your drainage system, which eventually affect your business operation. Invest on something else, just try to understand your DNA, try to understand what is the value proposition of that particular building. I work from a building which is in CP, right? So it's like the area wherein we cannot afford to demolish the building and construct a new one, right, with all the certifications. Yes. But it makes much more sense that we invest in the existing systems, and wherever possible, we just try to contribute through the new technology or through the new solutions which are coming up. Right?
Sure. Arjun, would you like to add something?
So one challenge with sustainable building, from taking an old building and then converting it into something that you want to make it over a period of time, is obviously there is a ROI that is having a negative impact on your maths, right? So basically, you have to make your customer or the person who is going to take that building as one of the stakeholders in the whole process of getting the building to that thing, which is that you are a old building with an experience that is coming up, which will be not the same experience as you get in a new grade A building, because they are standard experiences which are easy to measure, easy to deal with, because you have one floor plate, you have this much of setup, most of the things are more universal there. Here it is more specific to a building, and you have to get the ownership of the person who is going to occupy it. That is how you can build it. Otherwise, there is no point of building sustainable buildings from an old building and making it a new grade A. Right? That's where. Sure.
And this last thing I want to add on is that when we talk about restructuring a building, I think ROI of course comes into play, and everyone is doing there for a business, but then there is something which is non-negotiable. It's very important to probably think through those lines. I can just request through this forum with people, landlords, where I have got the opportunity to probably connect with people, talk about numbers, but when it comes to certain non-negotiables, it's really important. Probably you can amortize your cost into that, but and see how things can shape up. But I think that having said that, done is that I was just going to again quote an example. I have a lot of examples to talk about. In our last transaction with one of our landlords, we requested them to probably invest in the floor leveling. One very basic thing. What happened? We got to know seepage coming in. We are getting certain external facade towards the area where it attracts a lot of heat to be painted into green. So very basic stuff again, which I started this discussion with, going to basics, trying to understand the importance, and certain again non-negotiables. I think it is very important to probably really factor into when you are doing those transactions and thinking about it, because at the end it's for us, it's for us, our family, and I think people around us.
No, I think great insights, because why I asked this question, because I wanted to tell the world, whenever we want to start something new, we think of a concept के दोबारा से करना पड़ेगा, नया बनाना पड़ेगा. So I wanted to tell the world, if you want to bring the change, you can always start from somewhere in your own companies, in your own house structure. So facility management doesn't always say that, कि कुछ नया ही बनाना है, कुछ बड़ा ही करना है. छोटी छोटी शुरुआत हमें अपने देश के लिए करनी चाहिए. That is why I genuinely ask this question. Though I myself was not prepared for this question, but it just came into the agenda. So before we close this session, if you want to tell any successful project, if you can name it, of course, I understand you all belong to certain companies, but people should follow and read and study how successful they are and, what changes they've got on the table. So any project you want to talk, any good example which, we should research and we should study on the topic?
Just want to add on as in this onto this, nothing hidden. I think we as a company have done a transaction with one of the leading banks of India, and with one center being set up in one of the offices in Lucknow for them, around 500 workstations 2 years back. We are doing them with them a multi-city transaction, and the only reason was that they were happy to spend, given that if we can deliver what they really want. So again, I was just talking about non-negotiables. There were certain things which were non-acceptable to them, and they were okay. They told our management, the team, that okay, we are going to spend this amount, but you have to make sure that you are giving those things to us. And that was a landmark project for us in Lucknow, which we are doing and replicating a lot of centers. We have done some high-end technology. I missed, Arjun, that you talked about the CCTV camera, which really senses the emotions of people. And we did that pilot. Of course, it did not work out due to some reasons, but we did try that in that center, HVAC system in a different level altogether, water system, and I think that was one example which came to my mind, Ritika.
Sure. Anything, Arjun, you want to add on?
So for me, the project in Faridabad is a case in point. So it is a factory. It was a carbon generating factory. It was the blackest building that you've ever seen. And if you now hop in, you will see a kitchen garden in the back. You will see water harvesting happening on the floor. Then you will see electrical systems being automated. You will see solar panels being put on the roof, which are actually adding to the energy consumption. And we are basically we are becoming the symbol for a city. Apart from that, we are also culturally involved with the city. So brands like Robin Hood Army are partnered with us in that location. And the whole team comes in, takes all the wastage from our community members as well, and takes it across and spreads it into the economy. So from a cultural point of view, we are very involved with that city. We are also very involved with the product that we are building there. So that is one of the case points that people have now are talking about in that city. So you should always visit. Yeah.
I won't take much time. I'll just, for the project, recently we did a project, and of course, when we we were thinking of the solution, we thought of that, it has to be future ready, it has to create an immediate effect, and it has to be sustainable, right? So there were 3 dimensions which we thought of. First one was sustainability. Second one was, the employee experience, and third one was, of course, the ROI. So we implemented IoT basically, and this may be another topic for some other day, but then we implemented IoT in a multi-floor building, which is working absolutely fine.
Thank you so much to the audience, the lovely audience who've been listening patiently. Thank you so much.